We'll be linking with attorney at law Brian Baig. And don't forget, Regional Innovators begins next month. Hey, a pleasant good evening to you, Mr. Brian Baig. How are you, sir?
I'm good, sir. I'm good.
Good to have you on again. Thank you so much for linking with us, taking time out. So much to discuss. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley said that insinuations that he or the government were attacking Director of Public Prosecution DPP Roger Gaspard are absolute hogwash. He spoke at a post-cabinet briefing last Thursday, and Dr. Rowley referred to a recent opinion piece in one of the dailies and comments by opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar after a report of staffing issues. He's saying, listen, whatever people are trying to read into it, it is not so. Mr. Baig, what say you?
Well, the Prime Minister is totally now caught on the back foot. Because you are the man who went publicly on a political platform, a PNS meeting, I believe it was in Baratari. I'm open to be corrected with where he had it. And in that meeting, he attacked the Director of Public Prosecutions. He went as far as to talk about the building that they had. And all of this is only because the Director of Public Prosecutions, which is protected by the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, a position created by the Constitution, where he acted in a way he knew to do, whereby discontinuing the matters of the Bazio Pandey matter, and even with that of former Attorney General Anna Ramlogan, Senior Counsel, and that of Mr. Gerald Ramdeen. And this is the only reason why that the Prime Minister jumped out, as young people would say, jumped out himself. So, and then he's covering it by talking about lack of staffing. He's covering it up by talking about some a building. But I don't know if you know, Mike, but there is a special branch report that talked about the fact that this building that they want to have state attorneys at, it is not even safe for state attorneys. And we must understand, Mikey, that our state attorneys, so I hold no brief for any DPP lawyer. But as an attorney at law who was practicing, especially in the criminal bar, right, in the criminal arena, I know the struggles that they go through. So the DPP is quite correct to come out and talk about what it is he's going through. But the Prime Minister, sir, with all due respect, you are the man, as well as your Attorney General, who has attacked an independent office, which is called the Director of Public Prosecution.
Yeah, but Dr. Rowley made it quite clear that his main focus was in the fact that they spend millions outfitting the building. The landlord could walk away right now and say thanks for the millions, or because we spend those millions, we do have alternative use. And he says that's the point that he was making. He also drove the point home by saying that these statements that is out in the public domain, insinuating that it's some sort of going after the DPP, is basically to distract from the pursuit of white-collar crime, something he says that the opposition has an issue with.
Well, that's total rubbish, right? That is total rubbish. I would say, repeat it twice, as my English lecturers would say, because there were so many other matters that has been discontinued by the Director of Public Prosecution. There are so many matters that the DPP's office has been involved in. But yet, the only two matters that came to the forefront are those two matters I made mention prior. And then came out of the blue, Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley and his Attorney General, they all start to talk about the office of the Director of Public Prosecution. So before, if you remember, there was also Nelson Gate, when that the Director of Public Prosecution had to put the Attorney General in his place and also had to indicate that such a deal that was made was never in the forefront or should be in the purview of the Attorney General's office, which came from former Attorney General Faris Al-Rawi. So, again, Dr. Keith Rowley has found himself wanting, has found himself with egg on his feet. And he has no choice but to come out and say, hey, it's not that I mean, I'm talking about man building. Sir, there is a report, I repeat it again, Mikey, that talks about unsafe place that building is. Do you know, Mikey? They even wanted to put office of the Director of Public Prosecutions in a mall in Hull City. How could you do that? Do you know we had a very known senior counsel who was a state prosecutor who lost her life? That being Dana Sitahal, senior counsel. So you come in now and you talking about a building? Man, Prime Minister, please. You have been proven again that you are trying to interfere with independent bodies. You're trying to get the tentacles of the People's National Movement within this office.
No. When you touch on independent bodies, I don't know if the average citizen may be able to understand that or assess exactly what you're saying, because it's a bit contradicting here. When you have the Prime Minister saying that there's no intention of the government to interfere with the DPP's office, we have no interest in that, except that we want to know that in the office of the DPP, the job is going on the way it's supposed to go on. And Cabinet will do what it can to make sure that can go on. And people are trying to understand independent, because the average person is not seeing it as though it's an office away from the government. It's an office that functions with full autonomy. Do they understand when they say independent, and then to have the Prime Minister say, listen, you are independent, but we just need to make sure, we need to know what's happening inside there, that the job is being done.
But that is why there was a third player that jumped in the fray in this matter. Because we must understand, under Section 90 of the Constitution, it creates the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, wherein which the DPP is in charge of all, I repeat, all criminal proceedings in this country, either at the Magistrates Court or at the High Court, or even wherein which opinion must be given by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution. And you will notice that the Judicial and Legal Services Commission comes into play with the deals with the DPP's office. And all of a sudden, the head of the JLSE, who is the Chief Justice, has jumped into this, which it should not have been as far as I'm concerned. The Chief Justice should have acted better in this way. And the Prime Minister, who knows how to come and attack these people, by you saying these things, yes, the state funds the office of the DPP, but it stops there. We must remember, history repeats itself. Where we saw, I'm sure you will remember, the saga that of John Jeremy, former Attorney General, and the then DPP there, Jeffrey Henderson, where we saw the AG then wanted to get involved with the same matter that involved the that of Basdeo Pandey, with another matter that dealt with the former Chief Magistrate, Shuma McNichols. And the DPP then had to tell the AG then, back in your crease, stay out of my business. And I am saying that, and I would like to say, that the Director of Public Prosecution, Mr. Gaspard, Senior Counsel, needs to speak out, needs to tell the Prime Minister and everybody of the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, drink water and mind your business.
Now, Dr. Oli also referred to comments made by the opposition leader on the issue of the Piarco matter, and of course referring to Section 34. He said, you think anybody could have come to me and tell me that they want me to go to Parliament and pass a law with a clause that would give them an escape hatch from the court, far less to have it acted upon. And those that are still here are looking for office in this country, talking about they want the police to go after Rowley. Now, this muddies and cloudies the entire issue when it is that I think that the average citizen, all of us as major stakeholders, must get some clarity. And this shouldn't be used as a political football. I mean, what are we seeing playing out here?
I have to laugh when I hear about Section 34 and Dr. Rowley himself. The Hansard alone proves that Dr. Rowley should be the last person to talk about Section 34, where he in the Parliament voted for the same Section 34 bill. And he himself was there and said yes to the bill. It was Kamala Prasad as Prime Minister of this country who saw what had to be done to deal with the Section 34 fiasco, and she dealt with it by removing a minister from the cabinet and also repealing that Section 34. It showed us what you call proper governance. It showed a Prime Minister Minister who knows her job, unlike Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, who is yet to know how to be a Prime Minister and know to leave certain independent organizations alone. And that is what I'm saying. That we have a Prime Minister who is not fit for his office. We have an Attorney General who is clearly not fit for the office neither. And if those two, which are the two highest positions of the cabinet, and they don't know what they're doing, well, God help us. And maybe we should do like the Commissioner of Police and say, let God intervene. But no, how we should intervene? Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, you and your government continues to fail, and he should call a general election now. Let the people decide.
And let me ask you, as an attorney, do you believe, and this is your professional perspective here, do you believe that there's a hidden agenda to all of this?
I do believe that there may be a hidden agenda, because again, all of this happened only because of two matters that was discontinued by the DPP's office. That being the Anand Ramlogan and Gerald Ramdeen matter, and that of the Basio Pandey Piako matter. Because we've heard of the DPP discontinuing matters of other cases, but it's only because of these two. Because you see, the PNM constantly uses these two cases to hold against the opposition, to hold against persons who may be affiliated with the opposition, to hold against persons who would have who maybe want to rise in the opposition and say, hey, at the end of the day, this is a party that has a former leader, prime minister before the court. This is a party that has a former attorney general and a former senator before the court. And guess what? They can't use that anymore, because of the fact of the lack of evidence in the case that led to the DPP doing what he's constitutionally empowered to do, and that was to continue the matter, Mikey.
Now, we see the Law Association weighing on this and saying that they are more than willing to step in and settle what is taking place here. Now, looking at the law fraternity, if you had to give a percentage rating of, let's say, from 0 to 100%, how divided would you put that percentage rate as it is now within the legal fraternity?
Well, it's a little difficult to still say. I mean, the LATT, the Law Association, has expressed their views on the matter, but I think right now the legal fraternity, there is a lot of talk about what's happening, but to give a percentage, it would be a bit difficult for me to give a percentage at this time. But I do know that there is some discontent among the legal fraternity, especially with matters that still is before the court. I can tell you, Mikey, just to maybe digress a bit from the point, is that many attorneys are asking for the courts to reopen, because with this whole issue of COVID, COVID basically everywhere is open. So many attorneys are asking for the Chief Justice to reopen the court, just to use that as to say what's happening. But with this, there is some discontent amongst the legal community, but to give a percentage, I'm not prepared to give a percentage at this time.
Now, tomorrow there's a planned move by many citizens to go down to the DPP's office and present him a letter saying that the country, a large portion, is in support of him. They believe that that may be the last remaining brick in the wall of democracy, and they want to be the cornerstone of that wall. Is it fair to say that, as independent as the office is in this land, any office, that there still has to be things answered to when it comes to the citizens of this country, that we can demand transparency and accountability still?
Of course, because at the end of the day, Mikey, our judicial system, which also includes the office of the DPP, must be independent of anything that looks like political interference. Because we must remember that we operate when our judicial must be independent. We operate that way. We must be independent from the politician. As I said earlier, tentacles of the PNM must not ever enter that office. As I told someone the other day, the DPP is the last man standing involved with our independent bodies. Because we are seeing where many of our independent bodies, we are seeing persons who may have some affiliation with the government. I cast no aspersions, my friend. But as a former prime minister once said, when an eyebrow has to rise, that means something wrong. So I commend our citizens for taking bold. It shows again that the normal man on the street is very much aware of what is happening, which this government is taking very for granted. I ask the people of this country not only to go to the DPP and stand with him, but I call on the people of this country to tell the Honorable Prime Minister, sir, you are unfit to lead, call a general election.
Now, I wonder how many citizens would understand that. I mean, just exactly what are we looking at? Let's say if it is that the DPP was removed from office, ran out of office, as the case may be, and perhaps another individual who may be more accommodating to that political agenda that you're talking about. Just how scary a situation will we have here in this country?
My friend, it will be very scary. We may come into the days of how it was in Germany, where you had prosecutions that led to persecutions. We must never ever allow this to happen in our country. I would always say one of the first tragedies in our judicial system was and now the other thing that is happening, which is a tragedy and a travesty to our independent organizations, is this attack upon the office
of the DPP. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Good, yeah. Closing comments, go right ahead.
My closing comment is this, that the DPP must be allowed to do his job as what the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago allows. And that is what he is doing. What the PNM is doing is trying to put this man because of the fact, and I'll say it again, it's all because of the Piako Bazio Pandey matter and people that of our former Attorney General, Anna Ramlogan Senior Counsel, and that of Gerald Ramsey. If these two matters were never around, you would never have heard Dr. Royce on a political platform. He came to a cabinet press conference because of the fact he has been caught, he has been found to be wrong. Dr. Rowley, for God's sake, man, you're unfit to lead. Your cabinet is unfit. Call a general election now.
Thank you.
And Mikee, I always make myself available to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Baig. It's been a pleasure as always. Good luck to you and the entire team. Thank you.